Veteran Congress leader and former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, whose tenure as a Rajya Sabha member ended in June, is likely to return to the upper house of parliament from Rajasthan. Dr. Singh, who earlier represented Assam in Rajya Sabha, will file his nomination papers here on August 13. According to the Congress sources, the party has decided to nominate Dr. Singh for the Rajya Sabha by-election in Rajasthan. The seat fell vacant on June 24 after the death of BJP state president Madan Lal Saini, who was elected to the Rajya Sabha last year. Dr. Singh is likely to win the election as the Congress enjoys a majority in the 200-member assembly and has the support of the Bahujan Samaj Party and some independent MLAs. The former Prime Minister was a Rajya Sabha member from Assam for 5 consecutive terms between 1991 and 2019. By the schedule announced by the Election Commission for filling the Rajya Sabha vacancy, the notification was issued on August 7 and the last date for filing of nominations is August 14. The election will be held on August 26 and the results declared the same day. Tens of thousands of Russians staged what a monitoring group called the country's biggest political protest for 8 years on August 10, defying a crackdown to demand free elections to Moscow's city legislature. Police rounded up scores of people after the demonstration in Moscow and at another rally in St. Petersburg, and detained a leading opposition figure before it began. But the response from the authorities was milder than the previous week when more than 1,000 protesters were detained, sometimes violently. The White Counter-Monitoring Group said up to 60,000 people had attended the Moscow rally, describing it as the biggest in Russia for 8 years. Police put turnout at 20,000. A month of demonstrations over elections for the Moscow city legislature have turned into the biggest sustained protest movement in Russia since 2011 to 2013, when protesters took to the streets against perceived electoral fraud. Crowds at the rally in Moscow roared "Down with the Tsar" and waved Russian flags. They are demanding that opposition-minded candidates be permitted to run in a city election next month after they were not allowed onto the ballot. The authorities have become brazen. "It's time to defend our rights," said Natalia Plokhova, a recruiting consultant. President Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin have so far avoided commenting on the unrest over the Moscow city elections. OVD Info, a monitoring body, said 245 people were arrested at Saturday's demonstration in Moscow and 80 in St. Petersburg. A small number of other arrests took place in other cities, including Rostov-on-Don and Bryansk. The Moscow protest was held with official permission, unlike last week's demonstration. Afterwards, hundreds of mostly young people chanting "Putin is a thief" began gathering near the presidential administration building, prompting masked riot police to ring off the area and detain dozens. Authorities had earlier warned protesters not to continue protesting after the officially authorized event. Until that point, the rally had largely passed without major incident, apart from isolated police detentions and a smoke grenade set off nearby. Ahead of the rally, police detained hunger-striking opposition activist Lyubov Sobol. Masked men raided her office and the police said they had information she and other activists were plotting a provocation at Saturday's rally. "I won't make it to the protest. But you know what to do without me. Russia will be free," Sobol wrote on Twitter. Sobol was released by police late on Saturday, she said in a video posted on Twitter, adding her detention was linked to a week earlier rally. Some pro-Kremlin politicians and officials have suggested that the West has helped orchestrate the protests. Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny and at least 7 of his allies are in jail for breaking protest law. Investigators have opened criminal proceedings against about a dozen people for what they say was mass civil unrest at earlier protests, a crime that carries a heavy jail term. They have also opened a money laundering investigation into Navalny's anti-corruption foundation. The focus of protesters' anger is a prohibition on a slew of opposition-minded candidates, some of whom are allies of Navalny, from taking part in a September election for Moscow's city legislature. That vote is seen as a dry run for a national parliamentary election in 2021. Authorities say the opposition candidates failed to collect enough genuine signatures to register. The excluded candidates say that is a lie and insist on taking part in a contest they believe they could win. The ruling United Russia Party's popularity rating is at its lowest since 2011 and President Putin's own rating has fallen due to discontent over falling living standards. At well over 60%, it is still high compared to many other world leaders however, and last year the 66-year-old former KGB intelligence officer won a landslide re-election and a new 6-year term until 2024. The monsoon forecast is for lower intensity rainfall from Sunday, but the very heavy to heavy rain in parts of Gujarat, South Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu in recent days has brought healthy storage to many reservoirs in the southern states. Idukki in Kerala, Karnataka's K.R. Sagar and Srisailam in Andhra Pradesh received steady inflows on Saturday. 4 days of heavy rainfall in Wayanad, which sends water to the Kabini Dam, and in the Karnataka Ghats eased fears of a deficit in the Kaveri. On August 6, storage in 4 reservoirs along the river was just 37% of capacity, but by Saturday morning, storage had doubled to 75%. The inflow into KRS Dam exceeded 1 lakh cusics, enough to fill it in less than 3 days. Idukki, Kerala's biggest reservoir, improved storage by 4% overnight, touching 34%, which is 503 million cubic meters (MCM) of water against the maximum of 1,460 MCM. Intense rain along the western Ghats sent big flows into reservoirs on the Krishna. Almaty and Basavasagar dams on the Krishna had inflow and outflow exceeding 5 lakh cusics, or 45,000 million cubic feet (TMCFT) of water daily. This surpassed the previous high of 4.5 lakh cusics in 2005 when large parts of North Karnataka were flooded, said G.S. Srinivas Reddy, Director, Karnataka State Natural Disaster Monitoring Centre. Any rain will lead to increased inflow. We expect it to touch 6 lakh cusics in the coming days, he said. While the two dams have a combined capacity of 145.6 TMCFT, authorities have kept the current storage at 96.94 TMC. Due to the large inflows, some headroom was retained in both dams to avoid flooding. On August 1, authorities lowered storage in the dams by 31.12 TMCFT to absorb excess flows from Maharashtra. The Godavari and Krishna rivers continue to be in spate in Andhra Pradesh. Water Resources Department officials said the inflow and discharge at Sir Arthur Cotton Barrage at Dhawleshwaram in East Godavari district was 15.30 lakh cusics in the evening, up from 320 cusics before noon. The Srisailam Reservoir on the Krishna was receiving 13,479 cusics at 11 am and the outflow from 10 out of 12 gates was 79,546 cusics aided by flood discharge from Narayanpur Dam in Karnataka. Over 1 lakh cusics was received at Nagarjuna Sagar in Guntur district and 6,437 cusics was being discharged. The Vansadhara in Srikakulam district and Thotapalli Reservoir in neighbouring Vizianagaram were also receiving large inflows, 20,448 cusics and 11,927 cusics respectively. In Tamil Nadu, Mettur, a major dam, was receiving good inflow from Karnataka. On Saturday evening, it stood at nearly 75,000 cusics. This was expected to increase to 1 lakh cusics by Sunday. The dam had a storage of 23 TMC against its capacity of 93 TMC. With steady and heavy inflow, it could realize 8 to 9 TMC daily and reach its full capacity in 8 to 9 days, an official said. Besides irrigating Kaveri Delta districts, the Mettur surplus is diverted to Viranam tank, which augments water supply to Chennai. In western Tamil Nadu, Amravati Dam in Tirupur district got heavy inflow, recording a level of 70 feet against a full reservoir level of 90 feet. Smaller dams in Kerala also received notable inflows. Malampura in Palakkad recorded an inflow of 6,095.31 cusics, Kallada 3,678.38 cusics and Kuttiyadi 16,181.18 cusics, the irrigation department said. The Pamba Reservoir was 35% full on Saturday, with a storage of 15.7 MCM, while Sholayar recorded 64.8 MCM, full level 149.2, Idamalayar 414.1 MCM, 1017.8, and Matupeti, 13.75 MCM, 55.2. In the Narmada system in central India, of 11 dams on the river, gates of only Bargi Dam, near Jabalpur, remained open. Of 21 gates, 15 were opened as the water level had touched 421.75 meters, just close to the danger mark of 422.76 meters at 6 p.m.